Troubling trend. Surveillance video shows an entire crew of criminals hitting a car dealership. Why authorities say it's happening more often now. And a New Mexico business expanding its reach. The one tool the owners of a popular burger restaurant are crediting with drawing in fans across state lines. Plus, a business trying to do good hit hard. What happened to a local charity thrift shop that set them back thousands, and why the owners say they're on the hook for the damage. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to KRQE News 13. This morning at 6 a.m., I'm Adam Atchison.
And I'm Kristen Curry. Today is Monday, March 28th. Hope you guys had a good holiday weekend. Coming back with some wind.
And spring break, right?
And spring break,
That's too bad, really, that we got the wind kind of coinciding with the time people might be outside.
I know. The good news is it's going to be warm today, so if you are going to take the kiddos outside, you can probably leave the jackets at home later. But tomorrow, man, those pesky winds are coming back, and they're going to be brutal in some parts of the state. But let's back up. We'll talk about this morning. 42 as you're walking out the door. Those winds are light right now out of the east. They will get stronger as we head into the later part of this afternoon. Your temps across the state this morning, although cold, much warmer than where we were yesterday. 21 and Raton. We actually bottomed out yesterday morning, 1 above 0. So we'll take the 20s this morning. 42, like I said, here in the Duke City, you'll find more of those 40s as you get further to the south, with some of those 30s out in Roswell and Hobbs this morning. But this afternoon, I would say statewide, we're warmer by a good 5 to 10 degrees, depending on where you are. It leaves us in the 70s here in the metro, underneath that mostly sunny sky. But we're talking gusty winds today and more so tomorrow. That will increase the fire danger across the state before temperatures start to tumble behind a strong cold front we have on the way tomorrow night. So a mixed bag of weather to finish up the month of March. I'll break down what you need to know coming up here in about 10 minutes.
Kristen, thank you. Meantime, an Albuquerque charity is worried about its future this morning after an accident caused thousands of dollars in damage. More than a week ago, a man crashed into a parked car and then pushed that car and his truck into the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store near Manolan, Washington. APD called it an accident, saying the man had a medical episode, but the staff says that driver didn't have any insurance, so now they're responsible for all of the damages. And they're worried that insurance won't cover all of it and that they may have to shut down the thrift store while repairs are made.
The thrift store, generates money for a lot of different things. And without the revenue from the thrift store, it could, really put a damper on what we're trying to do.
That organization helps about 150 people every month with things like rent and utilities. Happening now, an officer is on leave this morning as law enforcement investigates a deadly officer-involved shooting that left a man dead. Roswell police say it all started Saturday night after somebody reported a man driving recklessly and pointing a gun out of his truck. They say officers tried to pull the driver over, 33-year-old Robert Green. Instead, he pulled into his driveway. A few minutes later, police say Green got out of the truck holding a shotgun. Officers tried to negotiate with him, they say, for about 20 minutes before, according to officers, he pointed the gun at them, prompting one of the officers to open fire.
Those decisions often are made. They're always made in the heat of reality, and they're obviously tough decisions to make.
Green was later pronounced dead. Just in this morning, the death toll continues to climb this morning in the Brussels terror attacks. 4 of those injured have died, bringing the total to 35 right now. This as Belgium law enforcement released a new 32-second video of a mysterious man in a hat. There it is. The suspect seen here is part of they say, the March 22nd bombing. The U.S. State Department confirmed yesterday 4 Americans were killed in the attacks last week. Justin and Stephanie Schultz are the latest names confirmed. Justin's uncle reacted to news of his nephew's death.
All I could do was cry. He hated no one. He would friend anyone in the world. I mean, he was just that kind of person.
Meantime, authorities in Belgium are questioning several suspects in connection with the attacks. Police carried out more than a dozen raids in and around the capital city on Sunday. Among those arrested, a 32-year-old Frenchman suspected of plotting a foiled attack in France. Officials are also trying to figure out if one of the men in custody is the 3rd airport suicide bomber who fled the scene. A former Albuquerque mayoral candidate's son remains in jail this morning after police say they caught him in a stolen car. According to a criminal complaint, an APD officer pulled over Christopher Hay in that stolen car at the YMCA near Tramway and Comanche. One of the officers who responded had just arrested him for a similar charge last month. In court on Saturday, the judge said that Hay's criminal past was tough to ignore.
You have criminal history in 2 states. You have a prior failure to comply with conditions of probation. All that tells me, Mr. Hay, that some bond is appropriate to assure your appearance in court.
Hay, the son of mayoral candidate Paul Hay, was arrested in January after a family says he broke into their house and slept in their daughter's bed. That case and his other stolen car arrest this year have both been dropped by prosecutors, but they say they could be refiled. 2 men from California are out of jail this morning after a stop here in New Mexico. Police say they were caught with a whole lot of marijuana. According to a criminal complaint, a deputy pulled over Anthony Garcia Martinez Friday morning on I-40 near the Rio Puerco. When the deputy approached the car, he says he could smell marijuana, and that's when investigators say that he found 14 pounds of pot and some cocaine. Garcia Martinez's passenger, Danielle Shaid Abbasi, was also arrested. 5 minutes past the hour, authorities are weighing whether to file charges this morning against an American Airlines pilot caught trying to board a plane while he was drunk. This happened at the Detroit Metro Airport on Saturday. Authorities say the pilot was scheduled to be in the controls of a Pennsylvania-bound plane. Not much is known about why he was accused, but officials will only say they had reason to believe the pilot was intoxicated. He was given 2 sobriety tests and reportedly failed both. The photo taken by a passenger shows the allegedly intoxicated pilot being taken away in handcuffs. Also happening right now, police are investigating a brazen robbery at a Tampa dealership. Look at this. Look at this. It was all caught on video. It involved nearly a dozen people in the dark hours. You can see the 2 of the theft suspects go into the dealership through a smashed window. They grab a box of car keys and then head right into the lot where 8 others were waiting. Tampa police say the thieves got away with 8 vehicles just after 7. The thefts are part of a larger trend called multiple offender crimes. A new study by the National Retail Federation showed nearly 8 out of 10 retailers report being a victim of that type of crime. Suspects in only half of these cases were ever arrested. Happening today, people who live in one part of New Mexico have a chance to hear how the state is protecting their crops and livestock. Experts out of New Mexico State are set to brief residents on how they can safeguard against residue from the Gold King mine spill. More than 6 months after an EPA cleanup triggered release of toxic wastewater, there are still heavy metals left in the watershed. One of today's speakers specializes in plant and environmental science, the other agriculture. That talk is at a Citizens Advisory Committee meeting, the group created to relay their community's concerns. Tonight's meeting is scheduled to get underway at San Juan College in the Henderson Center, starting at 5. A group from Los Alamos is preparing for an unprecedented trip this morning. Santa Fe, New Mexican reports representatives from the Los Alamos Historical Museum are traveling through Japan to better understand the country's perspective when it comes to the impact of nuclear warfare. The team, coming from the city most known for the creation of the atomic bomb, will travel to cities that were targeted with the bomb, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, among others. New on this Monday morning, social media playing a big role in the reason a New Mexico favorite is crossing state lines again. We're talking about Blake's Lotta Burger. Apparently, we're not the only ones craving a Lotta Burger with green chili and cheese, and Blake's execs found out by social media. Already with 75 locations in our state and 3 in Texas, the popular burger joint is expanding again, this time to Tucson, Arizona. The first store opened in 1952, and while the burger is still the same, there have been some big changes along the way, including how Blake's reps say they decide where to expand. Reps say they now monitor social media very closely, and what they noticed is that they had more people in Tucson, Arizona asking for a Blake's Lotta Burger than anywhere else.
There are a lot of people in Tucson that have visited Albuquerque or gone through New Mexico, and you can't go through New Mexico without seeing a Blake's Lotta Burger or stopping at a Blake's Lotta Burger.
Pretty cool. 2 new locations will soon open up in Tucson. The first will open up April 1st by the University of Arizona. The second's expected to be up and running by the summer. Blake's representatives say they're open to adding more restaurants, but they don't know where just yet.
It was just weird to see myself moving and acting like that.
Fighting back, why an Army veteran says battling a chase suspect was his only option in a brawl over his bike. Plus, a frightening run-in, the sight a 7-year-old woke up to locally that has one man facing multiple charges this morning. And attempted burglary gone bad, where police say some suspected thieves went wrong after trying to break into a local business, and the latest on the investigation. Good morning, everybody. 6:30 here on KRQE News 13 this morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Adam Atchison.
And I'm Kristen Curry. Happy Monday to you. Today is March 28th.
Beginning of the week, post-Easter, spring break. Lots going on today.
A lot of us still on a sugar high with all the Easter candy that we did get. Yeah, but it is spring break for many of us, including APS. So I do imagine a lot of us want to get outside, enjoy those warmer temperatures that we have on tap today. We'll start you off with a live look outside. Good morning, Durango. We actually got a few new cameras in Durango. I'm excited to show you guys those over the next coming days. But pretty much across the state, we're quiet to start. Temperatures, though, cold up in the mountains, 19 in Taos, 34 over in Las Vegas. We have more of those 30s and 40s out across South Central and Southeastern. New Mexico, 42 is how we're going to start our day here in the metro before warming into those 60s by noontime, eventually topping out the 70s. So it is going to be a warmer day today compared to what we had Saturday and Sunday. But unfortunately, those pesky winds are coming back today. We'll just go breezy today. Very windy tomorrow with the storm that's sitting up further to the northwest of us. Those winds are going to crank across the state over the next coming days, which is not going to help our fire danger. But we're also tracking a strong cold front moving in tomorrow night, and it's going to do some work on our temperatures through midweek. So a lot going on. I'll break down everything you need to know for your neighborhood here in about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Kristen. Developing this morning, the roads are back open in northeast Albuquerque after police say suspected burglars were caught in the act. They say what started as a potential break-in at a business turned into a canine call-out when the people involved refused to cooperate. News 13's Catherine Mazzone is live at Manal in Louisiana, not far from the business where police say these burglars were. Catherine?
Good morning, Adam. As you can see, the police activity here is over. Roads will be open for your morning commute, but this is where it was focused. These businesses here, the GameStop, Backyard Inspiration, Lever's Luggage. We don't know exactly which business was affected or businesses, but we're still waiting to hear back from police. Here's what we know about how this whole thing began. Take a look at this video we captured last night. It was around 8 when Albuquerque police say and officers responded to a burglary in progress at a business just west of Louisiana and Manal. Police say they believed subjects were held up in a business they broke into and were refusing to come out peacefully. Officers and APD's K9 unit responded. And again, I'm right here just by Georgia and Manal, not far from the intersection of Louisiana and Manal. At this time, again, we're still waiting to hear back from police about how this whole thing ended, what happened to these subjects who were allegedly in this building, and which businesses, again, were affected. We'll let you know. Back to you, Adam.
All right, Catherine, thank you. Again, we're going to continue to follow this and bring you any updates as they become available throughout the day, both on air and on the KRQE News app. On to this, happening in just hours, a trial is scheduled to begin for a man charged in the death of a 14-month-old baby. Christopher Garcia was arrested last year for child abuse after the baby was taken to UNMH with a brain bleed and bruises all over his face and neck. According to the criminal complaint, the boy's mother, Carmina Vargas, told police the baby fell off the bed. She later told police that she lied, that she actually left the baby with her friends, Garcia and Lizzie Portillo. Those two said the baby did fall off the bed, but that Portillo shook him several minutes afterward. All three were charged with child abuse. The trial is scheduled to start at 9 this morning. Today, you can take the kids to a unique exhibit at the Biopark Aquarium, reopening with a whole new look. Just in time for spring break, the aquarium just finished 5 months of renovations at the touch pool. The white-spotted bamboo and epaulette sharks, blue-spotted and Atlantic rays, and more will be on display once again. The new pool showcases the mangrove ecosystem and also contains mud skippers and amphibian-like fish that live on mangrove mudflats. The renovation cost about $12,000. We have more details on it on the news app right now. 6:34. Let's take a live look at the nation's capital this morning. President Obama's Supreme Court pick is preparing to meet with the first GOP senator who's agreed to see him. Illinois Senator Mark Kirk says he will meet with Judge Merrick Garland tomorrow. The president nominated Garland to fill the vacancy left after the recent death of Justice Antonin Scalia, but most GOP senators have been refusing to schedule confirmation hearings or meet with them. They say it should be up to the next president to fill the vacancy. Kirk and 2 other GOP senators have recently broken ranks and called on their leaders to hold a vote on Garland. Happening this week in the race for the White House, candidates for president will campaign heavily ahead of primaries in Wisconsin next week. Voters there will head to the polls next Tuesday. This morning, Bernie Sanders is hoping weekend caucus victories in Washington, Alaska, and Hawaii will give him momentum in the uphill race against Hillary Clinton. On the Republican side, frontrunner Donald Trump is threatening to sue the state of Louisiana as Ted Cruz's camp tries to sway more delegates his way despite Trump's narrow win in Louisiana. Happening today, fire crews in northwest Oklahoma continue to fight a wildfire burning in 2 states. According to local news reports, the more than 300,000-acre wildfire is straddling the border of Oklahoma and Kansas. The Anderson Creek fire broke out early last week, and as of this morning, it's about 45% contained. The fire has killed some animals on ranches and also burned down several homes. This week, wind and low humidity could hamper efforts to put those flames out. Authorities in Kansas say it is the largest wildfire in their state's history. Here in our state, fire authorities are warning that our own fire season is off to an early start. Last year, by this time, about 50 wildfires had broken out. That's according to New Mexico State Forestry. So far this year, that number has doubled. The same goes for the number of acres burned. Last year, by this time, we were at about 7,600. That number has increased by 500% as of right now. Recent dry, warm, and windy conditions are to blame.
There are steps you can take now and throughout the year to help better prepare yourself and your home for wildfire.
And those steps, they say, include clearing a space around your home of dead brush and weeds if you live in an area prone to wildfires. You can find more information on this on the KRQE News app right now. 6:37, a seven-year-old Santa Fe girl is likely still shaken up this morning after a scary run-in with a complete stranger in her bedroom. Santa Fe police say 22-year-old Garrett Curran was intoxicated when he wandered into the home near Paseo de Peralta and North Guadalupe. Police say the little girl woke up Saturday morning to strange noises and found Curran at the foot of her bed. So she got up to tell her dad, who then came back to the room to see him on the floor.
He wasn't waking up. The father then tried to remove him. As he tried to remove him, the young man woke up and started to struggle with the father.
And the father was able to get him out and hold him down until police got there. They say that Curran is facing child abuse, burglary, and trespassing charges. The little girl was not hurt in all of that. A 14-year-old Roswell girl is facing arson charges this morning after police say she set her family's home on fire. This happened Wednesday after investigators say the girl and her stepmom got into an argument about the girl not going to school. Police say a bottle of lighter fluid was found in the backyard and the middle school girl was seen running from the home. Officers say that a man was taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. That home is a total loss. 6:38, developing this morning, researchers at Sandia National Labs are tweaking a technique that they hope will be better at detecting mosquito-borne illnesses. Pretty interesting. Researchers say they've developed a way to light up disease-carrying mosquitoes that could spread West Nile. They're now working on doing the same to screen for the Zika virus. In the future, it could help field workers target threatening mosquitoes and figure out how to triage patients. A wanted felon is facing more charges this morning after a hit and run led to a chaotic police chase. But it's what happened when he tried to steal a motorcycle with the rider still on it that's catching a lot of attention right now. Police say this man was one who set off the chase in Arizona last week. During the chaos, police say he apparently tried to take an Army veteran's bike while he was still on it. The biker fought back, though, and it was all caught on chopper camera. He says the bike is especially important to him because he bought it after his final tour in Afghanistan. The bike does have some damage this morning, but the rider says he's hoping to get a new one or fix up the old one. He says fighting back, he just had to do it to save his prized possession.